Okay, let's see. Cross your fingers. Micaela! Are we gonna get you? Slowly coming in. Yes, no, maybe. We're trying. I can see her this time. Hopefully the Wi-Fi comes back. Oh, and she's gone again. Okay. I'm going to invite her. Thanks for coming back and forth. I am waiting for Micaela to see the invitation and hopefully her Wi-Fi comes in. Oh, are you live? I think she's trying. The Wi-Fi is really trying. Her still image is gorgeous. Okay, she's unable to join.
What is happening? Can you hear me? Are we actually good?
You're coming in and out.
Anyone can hear me. Just that girl struggling hardcore over here.
Poor Micaela. I can hear you, but it's spotty. Now I can.
Huh? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
This is.
Yeah. So my Wi-Fi. So for anyone, oh geez, I just got things.
Yeah, we hear you just in and out. We can see your beautiful.
Not.
I just hear you for a couple seconds and then you go out again.
I like how it says I have it. You know what? We're just going to take the Bluetooth out because I'm like, maybe that's why. Now can you hear me? Yes? Okay. So I had my Bluetooth in, but apparently my Bluetooth wasn't wanting to work. Hi, guys. This is why I don't use technology. Oh, hello. We made it. Only like half an hour after what we originally planned, and then life happened, and then technology issues happened.
The real life of TN. We made it,
Guys,
and we're gonna make some cookies together to calm us down and relax us. How are you feeling today? It's a really big day for you.
Yep. It's been interesting. Yeah, it's been like close circle of friends, kind of new. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Micaela. Not officially diagnosed with TN, but just some of the adventures this past summer kind of led to like an unofficial diagnosis, waiting to get to an ENT appointment so I can officially get diagnosed. But yeah, it's been this like interesting adventure this past summer of like my close friends who know me, or like if I've had to tell people at church because I'm like, hey, I potentially can't serve tomorrow because of this. So like I've had people in like my actual life, that's the best way I can put it, know I have it, or like potentially have it. But today was like hey, the internet, this is a thing in my life. So yeah, if anything, it feels...
That's amazing, Micaela. I'm so proud of you for sharing and just for embracing this journey so early on.
Yeah, I'm like seeing people I know this. Yeah. I'm like seeing people I know in this. I'm like, oh, like...
Shout them out. Tell them hi.
This is fun, but also very nerve-wracking.
If you want to know anything about Micaela or have any questions for her, just shoot her a question. Yeah. Yes.
TN related blew my ad. There's only certain things that will go so in depth on the internet, you know?
Is there anything you want to...
Yeah.
Yes, only TN related questions.
TN related questions. Well, more, that's when you DM me, and you will decide if you get those answers. I will decide to get those answers.
And she always gets me out of my anger moods and lets me vent to her. So I so appreciate her energy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. And also, this is a fun little fact for you guys.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time like we're actually like talking kind of face to face. I feel like the closest we've had is like, we all like voice memo to the other, like you cackling because I said something stupid. Yeah. So this is fun for us as well too.
What percent of the day are you in pain?
Ooh, what percent of the day of pain? Like today or just in general? Okay, so for today, I feel like I haven't been too bad today, but also thank you, science, for medication. So that helped a lot. So I want to say like maybe like when I woke up and was still like kind of waking up and hadn't taken like my meds yet, like it was kind of like a soft punch to the face type feeling. And then when I was trying to run earlier today, it was this adventure of like, haha, wind. And just my face like, no, 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 we don't want to do this. So I was like, okay, like I literally brought one of my like more intense masks with me because I'm like, oh, it looks a bit breezy, but I really want to do this because it's TN day. But yeah, so I want to say like today it hasn't been too bad, like maybe like 10%, but like there's been like moments, there's been days where it's like, Micaela can barely get out of bed right now because it feels like someone punched her in the jaw and like she's getting like this like, so for me it's the right side, so I know Jess or the opposite side, but for me it was like right here, and it was like I was getting like these shocking pains whenever I would like say a single sentence, or I could barely eat soup or like drink a smoothie that day because it was setting off so badly. I remember it was a Friday Saturday combo when this happened, and I remember having to text my lead pastor, or like one of my lead pastors, be like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to serve tomorrow. Can you pray for my face? Also, if this gets worse, I might go to the ER. Who knows? So
yeah,
depends on the day.
Yeah, trigeminal neuralgia. So
I don't know if I'm...
my percentage is 100% of the day I am in pain. And I'm in a lot of pain right now, but I am feeding off of Micaela's energy, and I am ready to make some cookies with you guys.
Yeah. Again, I'm pretty thankful. I'm like, maybe I personally, because of this live, like tried to talk as little as possible. I'm like, okay, contain how much my face is gonna move. I know I'm gonna be talking to Jess for like an hour. So yeah, so I'm like, I'm at maybe like if there was a pain scale right now, I'm like maybe at a 1 at best. But also, I was saying this to my best friend earlier today, who I see is on the live. Hello, Maddie. Yeah, I'm like, I probably was like, I'm like, what if I like flare up while on the live?
Yeah.
And she's like, really? Like, if there's any spot to flare, it's there because you guys understand it. So, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, let's make some cookies. I'm so excited. Actually, there's like a couple people. Again, this is so weird because like I can't see the comments right now fully unless I like. Oh no, I can. But Instagram was like, oh, like this person, like so and so and so and so. Oh, hello, Lauren. Oh my gosh. Now I'm seeing like people I know in here, and this is weird, but also so interesting. Okay. But it was like I was like so and so. Yeah. So Lauren, hi. Just saying. We can do some baking switches because I know you're also a baking pro. But we're making these like amazing chewy pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. I also will sometimes like today, adding cranberries for them. I know there's a handful of people, like pretty much every person I know, like in person who I've seen for sure in the live, you have had them. I had one of our tracker coach, Jacob, you will understand this, Lucas, he called it fall in a cookie, and he hates fall, so, but he said it was a pretty good cookie, so. Yeah, so, let's go. I also like had, everything's like that way, and it's very fun because I had to like move my phone to get better Wi-Fi, so I'm like slowly moving everything over. So yeah, so I'm also going to be making double the batch just because I have people I love in my life and to know that when I make these that I'm incapable of making small batches of cookies. And also it's Thanksgiving weekend in Canada, which Jess and I were talking about because Jess is in Portland and I'm over in Victoria, BC, Canada, so I'm on this like little island on the west coast. And I wouldn't change it for the world. But yeah, it's Thanksgiving weekend here, so I'm like, I'm just gonna show some love to some of my like chosen family with cookies this weekend. So
Canada is celebrating.
That's what we get. We were also making the joke that like, because sometimes we'll play the game of like, oh, Canada versus US for the two of us. No, I want the smaller bowl. What am I doing? And so we realized one of these things of like Thanksgiving is really like one of like food-wise perfect for TN. You know? Like you get turkey, you get it's all soft foods. So 10 out of 10, recommend. So we are going to be doing half a cup of butter. I'm doubling everything so that I kind of like pre-measured stuff out. So it's gonna be half a cup for you guys. I am doing a full cup over here. One, because it does say softened butter. And honestly, I'm that person I will just like straight up microwave this. Perk of having microwavable bowls. I'm gonna see if I can like bring you guys lower at least so this is good.
I mean, I can't
kind of see what I'm thinking. Everyone who knows me in person is like, oh yes, Micaela's rambling because she's nervous. It's coming out right now. Right, guys?
I can't see.
Wait, Steve. One of you guys are going to call me out on this.
Can everybody?
No one is.
I just see like a still image of you.
Can you guys see my face?
Maybe it's just me.
Oh no. I'm like, the last thing I can see is like, I can see you still being live. I have lots of messages I see is I cannot wait until November. Now we're chatting Thanksgiving foods.
That I can't see her. Okay. Is she coming in now? Her. Oh no. Okay, now.
Two. Can you see me better?
Can you hear me?
The back?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's just a black screen.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. It should be coming back soon. I just turned on my data for this, so if it still doesn't work.
They all said that they could
Thanks.
see you, and it was just me.
Face.
So maybe
Can you guys see my face? Okay. No. I just have really crappy Wi-Fi. It's just down here, like we've had to get a Wi-Fi extender, and I'm in like the one area where it's not super strong. And I'm like, of course I am. So I just turned on my data a bit. So, we have full bars again. Okay, I can turn this off then. Cool. There we go. Okay, yeah. So while that happened, yeah, I like how you have to like, put everything together. I'm like, everything is just across the counters for me, and I'm going with my hands.
And I got everything ready like 2 minutes ago.
I mean, I had to last minute change some things up. So
yeah,
but we're doing it. We're still here. Yeah. So with the butter kind of melted, for everyone at home, you're going to be doing 1/4 cup brown sugar and 1/2 cup of regular sugar, and then just stirring or whisking until the lumps are gone. Again, I'm doubling up on things. So.
Didn't you say the whole house was gonna candle?
Oh yeah. So once we get like the pumpkin in, it's more when we actually bake them. This is one of those like, oh, you set it to bake for like, or you like let it sit for like half an hour, or like up to 3 days, I think it is. So just letting it chill. So once you get to that, it just, oh, it smells like a pumpkin spice candle, and life is great. I think I made them. I don't know if I made them when I moved into this place, but I know, like past times I've made cookies at this place because this is who I am. And I've had my sweet. I have a sweet. I want to say she's like late 80s. She's kind of like a grandma figure who lives above us, and she's just the sweetest. And yeah, I made cookies one day, and she was making a comment of like, she's like, oh, like when I talked to her, like, she's like, oh, I could smell them, like everything smelled so good. Like, oh, and so I still got some left, so I like brought some up to her. I think it was around Christmas last year, and yeah, snuck them up to her, even though technically
That's so sweet of you.
I shouldn't have, but yeah, she was super thankful. Yeah, I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I am incapable of making small batches of cookies.
Sound like a
So
bad problem to have.
there are plenty, trust me. Okay. It really isn't. Like, it's honestly at that point where when people are like, oh, like, tell a fun fact about you, mine's just become, I can't make small batches of cookies. But yeah, so I see Jess already going for it. We're going to be adding 1
teaspoon.
teaspoon.
I have my
Tablespoon?
iPad up.
What does it say on yours? Because I like took rough notes.
I was like, how are we gonna remember this?
Okay.
How are we gonna do this?
Okay. Yeah, I have these really crappy notes on the side of that I wrote down, and because I'm having to move around from where that spot was,
Okay.
I don't have it.
My vanilla.
Yeah. I've just added in mine, and I just got my vanilla soup. Guys, if this doesn't explain who I am. Like, I'm almost out of it, but it's like, can we just talk about the size of the bottle? But I'm not almost gone. This is who I am as a person. Yeah, while we're just making this, anyone have any more like fun questions or like things they want to know about Jess and I? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like super nervous going into this because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but also it's me, so I can just ramble forever. Oh no, Mo has joined. Mo is going to cause
Is anyone else making cookies with us?
Hi, former roommate. Yeah, who's there?
And I know she's very hopeful.
I like half heard that sentence.
Are you? I still can't see you. Wait, whisk and blotted.
Are we good? So you can blot the puree. I usually don't. I find it makes it a little bit more moist. I know we all hate hearing that word and hearing other people say it, but here we are. So if you're doing it at home, it's going to be 6 tablespoons. Exactly. So it's going to be 6 tablespoons. I am going to be doing 12. So if I go quiet, it's just because I'm counting over here, because I'm doubling the recipe, and I should have made a little scoop-de-scoop of this earlier. Good.
But I'm just okay.
Oh.
You what?
I have heard that sentence.
Oh,
I like half, it was like kind of cutting in and
I
out
was
for whatever you were
to
just
ask
saying. I don't know if you're
about
talking to me or to Michael.
dinner.
So right now, just because of like, just with like kind of what's gone on with my family the past 2 years, I don't know what I'm doing for Thanksgiving at all. I know my roommate is gone and hanging out with her family. But I don't know what I'm doing. Where I usually have gone for Thanksgiving in the past is my aunts. They would have like a big Thanksgiving dinner, but yeah, they moved, and so they're like, if you guys ever jump on this or see this, I love you guys say this. They're in the middle of nowhere. I got to see them beginning of this year, just because we had some, just had some sad stuff happen in our family. So can we just, okay, before we continue this sentence, can we just appreciate, how can I, like, I don't know how well you guys can see this, my, like, beauty guru side. Can we just, this makes me so happy. Yeah, so I actually don't know what I'm doing for Thanksgiving at all this year. It's just gonna be me in an empty house, relaxing. I think that's my only plan. Who knows? Who knows? But also, I'm serving at like 3 services on the Sunday, so I will take the Monday resting very much. I am okay with that. Okay, so what ingredients are done? I was gonna say, I just missed that. So, if you're following along at home, it is going to be 1.5 cups of flour. Okay. Let's play the game of will Micaela get all of this on her during a live stream? Yeah, that's on you. But can we just get a little modeling moment? Because is that the new TN shirt I saw? Okay. Yeah, we don't talk about how long it took to get there. We just talk about how cute they are, right, guys? I am. So, okay. I have 2 more of these. So, we have a little lightning bolt, and then we have a little teal moment happening. So, repping them all month. I realize I have no teal in my closet, so this is what I could do. Okay, there we go. Okay, got the flour. Can I actually do these? Okay, and then it's going to be 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoons cinnamon, grounded cinnamon, I should say, not like the actual thing, and then 3/4 tablespoon pumpkin pie mix. Because I knew me doubling on the fly, I just prepped them all together. So if this seems like a lot going into mine, it's because it's double and it's all of them already mixed. Oh, it already smells so good in here though. So while Jess is distracted and while she won't kill me for saying this on the live stream, I am so thankful for her. Yeah, so I kind of figured this whole, or I've been figuring out this whole TN thing, kind of this, like not even past 6 months. And Jess was kind of the first person I officially like got connected with because I saw the run happen, or like had the run pop up on my Instagram feed, just on my explore page. But why? Oh, anyone who's like the way I mention measurements, It's because I have a little post-it note right beside me and like wrote everything down. But thank you for thinking I'm that good. Anyone who knows me in real life knows that I cannot cook. Maddie, we do not bring up specific stories. But I'm damn good at baking. So this is really, yeah. But yeah, so talking about Jess, because I just need to give her a little shout out because she's amazing. Yeah, she found, and like I see all the hearts. They understand. See, they get me, Jess. Yeah, she kind of made me feel less alone in this, and like I could ramble because she sadly understood the pain firsthand, and like all my like rookie TN moments of like, there's a wind warning, what do I do? Any of you who saw the wind warning meme?
100%.
It was based on a conversation we had. Fully, like she literally, I remember she's like, I'm turning this into a meme, like once my like fear and panic was gone the next day. Because there was supposed to be a wind warning in Victoria, and then, yeah, nope, it just checked it the next morning. It's like, oh, maybe at most 11 kilometers an hour. I'm like, you were saying 70 last night. What happened? I was very thankful for it, but still, I was like, why? Why is this a thing? So, yeah, so you're just going to mix all your dry ingredients. I'm going to, oh, here's the fun. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys down a bit more just so we can just get that, like, that beautiful just pouring of the mixtures. Okay. Because we only talked about, we got the beautifulness, right? Just how to know I may really love baking cookies is when I love this part a little too much. Like,
Love it.
Just sitting here laughing at me. Okay. But no, so also how I found this page was like one thing that was really helpful for me, because I had like, I'm realizing how much I'm saying like in this right now, and I don't like it. The irony is I tried not to research in depth online because that freaked me out a bit. But then it was having like ER doctors be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this, but the only way you can confirm it is this. And having my dental team do a referral to get an ENT to get this checked out because I thought it was the same thing. So it's one of those like, this feels real, this feels scary, this and the other. And one of the things we'll bring you up instead, started to do to kind of help my just sanity in the moment was I started looking up just kind of like more people who were actually living with it, like looking at, like, again, social media is not real all the time. Well, let's be quite honest with this. But I was looking at people like the Trigeminal Neuralgia tag and like kind of, Kenzie, if you're on this or if you see this later, I was 100% stalking you on Instagram. We've talked about this. And yeah, just seeing what like life would be like. Or I'm a sucker for like crime drama or like medical drama shows. I'm not gonna lie. So I was like trying to like Googling like which shows like had obviously it's TV, so it's not gonna be real either. But had like, oh, like what a case of trigeminal neuralgia, and just finding ways where I could like see myself in it and not just have this like kind of like, oh, it's this really scary thing. I don't know what's happened to my face. Is this gonna be like this forever? I know it's a chronic thing, but nothing else. So yeah, so just had it, and then just like, yeah, Jess was like the first person I like talked to about all this, and yeah, she just made me feel a lot less alone. And we were like within, I think it was within what, the first 24 hours, we joked, we're like, hey, best friends for life now. Maddie, you're still number one best friend, don't worry. We're like TN best friends for life. And we've already made jokes of how when things get calmer in the world, someone's gonna come to Victoria, right? Yeah. And I'm probably gonna go to like Portland to go visit you. And then we also need to go visit Kenzie. So yeah, just finding those people who make you feel like a lot less alone in the world. Yeah, I know community, like during some honestly traumatic things in my life, has been like my faith and community have been like the two things that have helped me the most get through things. So knowing I have a little TN community on here, super fun and helpful. Oh, look at see,
the lazy
so,
girl
you
mixer.
have the professional mixer too. Okay. As I'm like, I am. So first of all, usually not looking like this when I'm making cookies. I'm usually like PJ's top one, very messy top knot, all of this. But I'm like, oh, we're going live on Instagram. Let's not look like a hot mess, you know? So there's usually moments I'm like, when I get to mixing, I'm like, sometimes I'll be like just washing my hands, like mixing it by hand, because I'm like, this isn't doing it the job well enough.
Yes.
So
is this looking good?
We're staying controlled, okay? Don't worry. Oh no. Oh, it'll like once it'll like it'll start to look like that, and then like once it gets mixed more together, it'll like mine's still slowly mixing, but you can see it's like turning into so like good. Kind of an orangey dough situation. Right? Okay, so how many people are actually, because I'm like, I can see like so-and-so joined, so-and-so joined. How many people are actually making it right now? I want to know.
Yes, pumpkin emoji.
Like send a little pumpkin emoji or something to us, or like, because if you're making these, yeah. But yeah, I'm like, if you guys have any more questions for us? Yeah, I know, what was it? Jess, we were talking about something the other day. We're like, that would be a good like thing to talk about on live. Yes. So I've kind of, it's been really interesting. Like, so also, if you don't know, there's just like, hey, no judgment. But now you have the recipe for another time, and now you get to just watch us ramble and make fools of ourselves potentially online. So there's fun in that. Yeah, so if you, first of all, if you're not following this page, follow this page. Jess brings amazing awareness to this, and just there's been like this amazing little community formed because of it. But her and Kenzie will do a live, I think it's like every Thursday morning, like, well, not this week, but it's usually like 9:30ish. You guys do it, or like 8:30? Sometime Thursday morning. There we go. Sometimes Thursday mornings they'll do a live, and yeah, they'll just kind of like talk about life with TN and have all these different topics. And then I've just kind of jumped in with just in the chat with all the comments. And Jess has usually called me out, or I think it was like the first week that like Jess and I were talking, I was like asking her a million like newbie, like rookie TN questions. And then she's like, oh, I was talking to someone this week. I'm like, you can just say my name. I know it's me. But yeah, and like one of the things that's kind of so beautiful here to hear is like both Jess and her husband, who now it's gone to the point like Michael name drops me when Jess is stressed out like about the t-shirts. If that isn't tight knit, guys, I don't know what is. Or like I'll hear like Kenzie talk about her boyfriend or this and the other, and yeah, like I'm like trying to think of like what to not make myself sound weird, because I know one person's gonna call me out on this. Well, like I'm single. I don't have family who lives nearby. Like I have people to call if like, hey, can you drive me to the hospital or this and the other. My roommate's not here right now, but she's usually busy with life in the sun, like in her life and everything, so she's not usually home a ton. But there's no like, I have this very interesting life, not interesting life. I have this thing of like, oh, if like, I don't know, if I like need a heat pack or like can barely get out of bed and like, but I need something in the kitchen, like I have to go do it. I have to go get it. I and the caregiver, but also the caregivee. Is this, or sorry, TN person. Let's go with that. So it's like I'm both the TN person, but also the caretaker for myself. So sometimes like I'll hear stories of like Jess and her husband or the son, and I'm like,
it's okay to feel that way because you don't.
So
yeah, it's totally
yeah,
okay to
I'm
feel that way.
very.
And I like to get the perspective from you on how you, it feels like you have to have extra strength almost.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty thankful that like I haven't had terrible care. Like I've only had really the 2 days I was talking about. Oh yeah. So if you are following along, it's going to be, if you're doing the regular version, it's half a cup of like, I think it's like dark chocolate, it says, or like semi-sweet chocolate, it says in the recipe. But if you're doing the Micaela way, one, do whatever chocolate you want. That's fun. But also, so it's going to be a quarter cup, whatever chocolate you want, and also a quarter cup cranberries. So for me, because I'm doubling it like half of each, so just. I'm also doing mine below because I feel like I'm going to get judgment for doing white chocolate in mine, but it's good, okay? Oh yeah, because it also just balances out with the cranberries of like the kind of like tangy sourness of them. I've learned. I feel like, oh, these are going everywhere. Yeah, I feel like I make these at least once every fall for the past few falls. So I've kind of like narrowed down of like what works best for me and like what I really enjoy, and then get to bring joy to other people with. And yeah, I have found the whole cranberry and white chocolate mix. I have everything popping out of the bowl. Has worked well for me. But yeah, going back to the caretaker topic. I can work, guys. I'm doing great. Yeah, like it. I'm thankful that I haven't had like any extreme days. Where except for those 2, and even then, like I was like, okay, yes, I see some excitement about these cookies. You understand. But yeah, it's one of those like you kind of have to like mind over matter, but also skip the dishes. I just great if I'm like, hey, I really need food, and I'm just I should admit to it of like how much Skip has been a friend during this, but it has. Like there was a moment where I just could not, and I was like, okay, I'm like, I have no energy to eat anything. Like I have need to eat something, but like I have no capacity to go and like actually make anything in my kitchen right now. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna like order this from Skip the Dishes. Or yeah, there was like during those 2 days, I was trying to so desperately find a heat pack from like just I personally like don't like the gel ones. Like I like I think mine's like an oat or something. So I was looking so desperately for one of those and just like was turning up nothing every time. But I think it was just a lot of like me having to be like, okay, like I can't remember what it was. I know that Jess had to do with a lot of my rambling and just like grumpiness those days. Because I think there was a moment where you're like, what is happening? You're like, this is usually me to you. Like, and I think what was the motto that was created? Was it F that flare?
It was
or F
the flare.
The flare. It was one of the 2. This is what happens when Micaela gets grumpy, guys. So yeah, because I was flaring really bad, she was flaring really bad. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm not alone in this. I feel a bit better. And so yeah, I'm also now hyper aware if like like my right side is more swollen, because Jess sent me a photo of her face all swollen because she was having a real bad flu. I was like, wait, this is a thing? So this is also a PSA. If you see me in public, don't comment if one side of my face is slightly more swollen than the other, because I will get hyper aware of it. am very self-conscious about it. But yeah, I think it's also just those days where it's been a bit rougher is like me having to be kinder to myself, be like, hey, like you are doing the best you can. Like you're a human. You like it's still I'm not gonna like it's not me going to be sitting there and be like, oh, my body is terrible because it's having a flare and this and the other. Because that's also just gonna like get me grumpy. Ugh. Full on face. It's a thing. It's a thing. I wasn't aware of it till Jeff said it. It's a thing, and it's stressful and not fun. But yeah, it's just having to like be kinder to myself and yeah, just like lean into community. And it's not even like because usually I'm pretty thankful that like I have medication and everything. So for the most part, I'm good.
I cannot
gosh,
wait.
That looks so good. Yes. Yeah, so here's where we're at over
Shauna
here.
is saying that her face is really swollen today.
Okay.
Are you left side or right side, Shauna?
Yeah. Tell us all the things. I know that like Jess and I we're opposite. So Jess is left side, I'm right side. Which we made the joke of like we have one really messed up face together and one normal face together. So little wins. But yeah, it's just kind of like leaning into community and just like kind of having those moments where I have to like, yeah, like I'm thankful for meds, which take away a lot of it. But just sometimes just having to like mind over matter, be like, no, like, okay, like I'm still definitely learning my boundaries at times. Yeah, that's where I'll stay with that. Oh, right side. Yes, twin, I shouldn't be happy that you are, but you get me. Yeah, so it's just like me having to be like just kinder and gentler to myself on those days. And yeah, realizing boundaries and just not beating myself up for it and not, I had a terrible habit for the longest time, like before TN, making like, just getting very critical, like if my body was failing me in some way, I would be like, really, like this, like, and just talk so negatively, and it would be like a mental thing. Ooh. Oh, I just saw the 40 years. I am so sorry. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact of like, oh, this is potentially like a forever thing. When I've only really been like dealing with it. I think it was in June that like the ER doctor was saying like, oh, this might be trigeminal neuralgia. And like my doctor, or like my dentist, I should say, was the one who's like, hey, this may potentially be trigeminal neuralgia, like on the referral sheet. But yeah, I'm still like wrapping my head around and be like, it's not a forever thing, it's just a temporary thing.
40 years.
So, y'all, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how or like how we saw, how long has Miranda had it for? Like she's had since she was 3. And I'm like, that just breaks my mind and also my heart at the same
Miranda's,
time. Like,
I believe she's 24.
Yes, anytime is too long. Amen. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that
I don't know
like
where I was going with that sentence.
Before, everybody's journey is different, and no matter how long you're battling, fighting, always says or used to say that her journey didn't mean anything because she hasn't been fighting that long and she's not even diagnosed, and that doesn't matter. Every fight and every battle in this war is worthy and it has to be fought together. You can't go through this alone.
Yeah. Oh, what is it? been in a horrible flare for 2 days, 20 plus attacks plus a day plus constant burning. Oh no. Thank you. It's hardest on the sufferer. It can be hard on family/caregivers too. That sense of hopelessness is hard. You want the pain to go away, but there's not much you can do. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm both. I am both my caregiver and the sufferer. Yeah, but I think that's like one thing that's helped me is just honestly like, this is gonna sound so like, I don't want to say silly, but just like so like, oh, like she's just doing this, but like leaning into community and like finding community has, because sometimes there'll be like moments of like, oh, you can kind of help me distract the pain for a bit, or just like, hey, I'm having a really crappy day. Can I just like text
And
you
how I
of
can't
like
eat
how
anything.
crap this day has been? So yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So story time. When this bad, I literally dropped my tinfoil because like I need the story needs to be told. So when I was having like my worst flare, and this was with medication, might I add. When I was having my worst flare with medication, I went on the hunt for a heat pack. I was in a pharmacy. I'm like, I'm not gonna go specific because I'm like, yeah. But I was looking at people, and I asked like one of the employees there, I'm like, oh, is this just like all you have? And this and the other, like, oh, like I think so. But I said something with like trigeminal neuralgia. She's like, oh, like I would recommend like going to the pharmacist. He may have more recommendations, this and the other. And so I did. And so I was talking to him, like struggle talking, because if you are in a flare and you are in a bad flare, you know what I'm talking about. Because I was at that point where like that day I was so upset because I couldn't drink my smoothie because my face hurt too much and I could barely get a sentence out without shooting pain, and I couldn't even eat soup. Like, so I was so hungry and so tired, and like I was just like physically tired, but also just like emotionally tired. I'm like, I'm tired of being in pain. Like, I don't want this. Like this, then like just ranting. And so when talking to the pharmacist, I said a comment of like, hey, like I'm in so much pain that like praying a lot. And hello, Vic. He made a comment when I said, I'm like, I can barely eat soup or drink a smoothie. He's like, oh, that must be a pretty sweet diet. And I'm so thankful. Like I was so mad. Like I am thankful that like I personally haven't dealt with any like eating disorders in the past. But I'm like, if this was like another 20-something who had, do you realize how true? Like I was also mad because I'm like just hangry, or just, what are we doing with pain and hunger and pain, hunger, and angry? What are we calling that? Pancreas? I don't know. But I was pancreas. I don't know. Whatever it is, but whatever that term is, that was me. And I think I thankfully I think I had my like the church I go to also. Hey, if you're in Victoria and need a church, DM me because I go to a pretty switch church and I'm super involved there and like want to make friends. I got you. So I was downtown when this happened, and my church is downtown. But I had my mask that had like the church logo on my face. So that also stopped me from losing it on him. But I was just so mad of like I'm like, I can barely talk. Like, why are you making this comment? I'm like, oh, like I know you mean it jokingly, but like don't make these comments of like, oh, it must be like that's a pretty sweet diet. I'm like, I just want food. Like, I'm not asking for much. My body wants, I'm like, I really want to be like, trust me, like, my body wants food, my face doesn't. Like, this isn't a joking matter. Like, I think I ranted about this, like, 5 friends the same day, because I'm like, this stupid, like, pharmacist, I just blanked on the word. Like, I just got so mad. Because I'm like, no, you don't make jokes about this. Like, especially if someone's in pain. But, yeah. people
Well,
can suck sometimes. Sorry.
I think people not understanding, like Sean was saying,
Should I
they
try?
don't understand that we can't even drink a smoothie, and that it hurts so bad that you don't want to eat. You can't sleep, and you can't do all these things because you're in so much pain.
Yeah.
And nothing will take it away. Even like Micaela said, she has back flares. Taking it.
Yeah. I feel like someone just screenshot that for the face I was making, and that's gonna be the new meme template. Anyways, so I'm also just hyper aware of faces when I'm live, because I had friends who we would do like a group Zoom call for a while, and I was the only girl on it, and my computer was slowly dying, and it's pretty much almost dead right at this point. But they would like, if my screen would freeze, they would take a screenshot and just like, I would be on some, because I talk like this, I would be on some ridiculous face, and they just have all these screenshots of me doing so. So me trying to put this on and get an elastic band, and like me being terrified of it like snapping back at me on this. Watch someone play this back and like screenshot that exact moment. Please don't.
I love that.
Now that I say that it will happen, but please don't.
That is so...
But yeah, so guys, we made the cookies. It is a total mess behind me, but we're just gonna ignore that. But is this face? I don't make a face. But yeah, I'm trying to like read all the comments. There is definitely a mess behind me. We are all just gonna ignore that, right, guys? I'm trying to read the comments. How do you keep up with these every time you do a live? I don't understand. As caregivers, I get how it's difficult to do anything involving your face. Yeah. I just want to cry for my mom. See, I would say cry, but also it hurts to cry. Finally, thank you so much. Yeah, I think Jess and I were talking about how we need to like make a new meme, which I feel like, Jess, I gave you all the supplies. You just gotta make it. Of how, yeah, like sometimes you just get so emotionally exhausted, and you just want to cry, or you want to like just let out these emotions because you're in so much pain, but then you can't because it'll trigger pain. And
we have a minute left, Micaela.
I remember this was back in June. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. But yeah, so ignore what I was gonna say. Thanks for joining. Thanks for putting up with like all of our tech issues, and we made it. Did my first live without making too much. I mean, made a bit of a fool of myself, but decent. Made it through. But yeah. Thank you, Jess, for just having this moment. Guys, follow. I'm like, I don't know why I'm pointing at because I see nothing on mine. But like, follow this account, guys. Like, I'm not just saying it because Jess is here. Like, follow it. I know they have some more fun events coming up. Sign up for the 5K. It's all month long. If you want to join my team, just DM me. Because there is a BC team, and everyone assumes that's my team. It's not. But TN Trackers, if you want to join, if you know me, you also know why it's called Trackers. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for deciding to spend an hour of your Thursday night watching two people make cookies while trying to figure out technology.